What's up, family? Peace, light, and love. Again, thank you for connecting with me again this week. I'm feeling some type of way. I just wanted to stop through, check in, and just talk about a few things that was on my mind. But first, I want to give thanks to the divine and all of the spiritual supports. This has been such an enlightening time right about now. These solar flares have been affecting me in a very special way. Many downloads coming in yet again. Of course, I know I've been talking about that a lot lately because a lot's been going on. And definitely shout out to my soul family. Those are the cats that definitely support the work that I'm doing, and those that are participating in the Serious Cipher that takes place on Clubhouse every Thursday, 8:30. That's Eastern time. We definitely need all hands on deck right about now. There's a lot going on in this world. And if we're not really paying attention to the news, because a lot of us kind of check out, and I can respect that because I do that too periodically. However, we definitely need to be aware of what's happening in the world, because if we the star players out here, then we need to be in a position of sending love and light out here in these spiritual streets. A lot of fuckery is going on out here in these streets. And this is all about us really not taking the wheel. And this is a time where the divine is really encouraging those of us that are of the light, that are of love, to step up and take the wheel. So this is a month right now. December is the month, it's the 12th month, and 12 is the number of universal manifestation. It's the number of the visionary. And today just happens to be the 20th. And that is all about realization, self-actualization, like really getting an opportunity to step into our power. So there's been a lot going on. Hold up, let me see if I can shrink my screen real quick so that I can tell y'all a little bit about like what's going on in these cosmic streets. Let me look at my astrology calendar. So what was that on the 18th? You know, Mercury was trining Capricorn. So that is a time for us to really get involved in a lot of the tasks that, you know, we've been trying to avoid and put off and shit like that. I definitely was able to take advantage of that energy the other day and start like really laying a lot of things down. This is also going to be a time too where we're going to get a lot of revelations. Like Spirit has been definitely tapping my shoulder for us to keep our head on a swivel out here in these streets, right? We really got to start paying attention to our circle, to the energy that's around us. And that's not to be on any negative shit. This is about us really tapping in and being in tune so that we can be more in alignment with the life that we truly wish to live. You can't do that if you're not going to face the truth and live true out here in these streets, because what you end up doing is circling yourself around a bunch of folks that's not really in alignment, and we end up playing these games where we don't really show up in our authenticity. It does us a tremendous disservice, fam. For real, for real. So I really want to encourage us to really start thinking about those things in our life that we wish to start bringing forth, and how we can make sure that we're in alignment with all of that. We got Vesta that's entering Gemini. So it's going to be hard for us to focus, is what this is saying. It's a Vesta retrograde. I don't even know what the hell Vesta is, so I'm going to have to look into that shit. But it's saying that this is a time where it's going to be difficult for us to be self-disciplined, right? So all of those things that we've been overindulging in and shit like that. That's one of the things that's really been coming up in a lot of my readings as well too, is this thing where we got to really watch out with disciplining ourselves, getting involved in self-discipline, like really starting to structure so that we can be in alignment with the things that we want. And I know that we don't want like poor health and an out of shape ass and all of that type of stuff, right? So this is really a time for us to really go go ahead and push that envelope. Spirit has really been talking about like pushing through the blocks, the challenges and everything. We start thinking sometimes, is the juice really worth the squeeze at the end of the day? I mean, we putting in work, we doing shit, and it seemed like it's Groundhog Day and nothing's really gaining momentum and shit like that. But this is a time as we begin moving into Capricorn season where we really begin to see the karma, the results. And see, karma works in a way about what you put in is what you receive. Check out those laws of karma that I talked about in the last podcast, where I was really talking about giving a brief overview, because there's levels to this shit and we need to be aware of how karma really works so that we ain't out here in these streets with a misunderstanding and then acting surprised and victimized when life starts showing us who we really are. So this is a time for us to really start taking inventory over all of that shit. But see, that Vesta retrograded entering Gemini and making it hard for us to like stay on track. This is going to be around for the next couple of weeks, right? However, we got a lot of this Capricorn energy that's really going to support us. See, Capricorn energy, if you know, it's what is that? The mountain goat, where you see it and it's climbing up the hill. You know what I'm saying? It's that tenacity. It's that tenacious energy, right? And this is that energy. See, this is where the sun is. And where the sun is, baby, you can expect that energy is going to really be prevalent. This is the overarching, the strongest energy you see. And so with that, know that this is what can be overcome. So all of this sluggish, all of this, maybe I'll do it later, save it for later. If you know this is some business that needs to be handled, you definitely have that energy of Capricorn that we're moving into that will support us in making those things happen. Let's make no mistake about it. I wanted to stop through and talk a little bit about music and how magical that shit is. Oh, I want to give a special shout out to Brittany Vibes out here. I know that she has some music that's been, she's been putting out, and this is really the direction that I've been going in, is really being a lot more mindful about the music that I'm listening to, about the things that I'm allowing into my ear gates and in my eye gates, right? Because our frequency and our ability to ascend, for us to really be in that space where we're heading in the direction that we want to be in. See, if homicide and murder and getting your freak on and everything is in alignment with the direction you going, then you go right on ahead and you let yourself get yourself a collection of music that's going to minister to that so that you can be in alignment with that. But if you're trying to raise your frequency and be in a space where you're at a higher vibration, I really want to encourage you to consider the music that you have on your playlist. What are you allowing yourself to take in? There are some bangers that's out there in these cosmic streets, but see, that shit's done by design. See, you got to know old Slewfoot out there, and Slewfoot is what I call that adversarial energy, the energy that works against us, that trickery energy that tells us things that are not working for us for our highest and greatest good is better for us at the end of the day. And then when they don't end up being better for us at the end of the day, we trip, we slip, we fall, then that job has been done by old Slewfoot. He can sit back and feel good and feel like he or she has won at the end of the day. That's what that energy is all about. That energy that works against us, right? We really have to tap in and tune in to the highest vibration of ourselves. I don't know why I'm getting distracted and shit. Let me leave this be right now. We really got to tap into our highest vibration right about now, because this is a time where it's becoming essential right now on this planet for us to kind of rise up and be great. It is time for us to really begin speaking truth to power, to stand in the face of the adversaries and not be afraid. We need to recognize that the divine has not given us a spirit of fear. The Christian text teaches, and I go back to the Christian text because this is what I was raised up in. I ain't got time for nobody's bullshitting ass religious conversation, right? This is where I was growing up in. So these are a lot of the texts that I remember. And then I got a lot of ancestors that's crossing over. That's also reminding me about where some scripture is at, that's giving me wisdom for where I'm at today. So the Christian scripture teaches that the divine has not given us a spirit of fear, but that which is of power, love, and a sound mind. So we can't be punk ass out here in these spiritual streets. Not saying that you foolhardily open the door to some drama, to some aggravation in your life, just walking through looking for some shit, letting your feet run to some madness, some drama, and some mayhem. Right? We ain't talking on that level, but merely really making sure that we're not here on the side where we just stand there with the gas face and we just are silent witnesses to all the atrocities that go on in this world, and we do absolutely nothing. We the star players on this planet. We just sitting back. We go watch it go down and act like we ain't got no power in these streets, huh? That's what we doing. Well, I ain't with you, fam. I ain't with you at all. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can show up a little better for ourselves by allowing the magic of music to really enhance our lives. I wanted to talk, hold up, where's my little guide at right here? Because I put a lot of stuff that I think is going to be beneficial for me at the end of the day in this book that will help me to reflect and direct my energy on some things that's going to really be helpful in enhancing my vibration. I recommend everybody get them a little book of just key things that we tap into. One of those things is the am I saying this shit right? Solfeggio frequencies, right? But anyway, those frequencies are sound frequencies that have therapeutic benefits. We got the 396 hertz. That's that liberating frequency. That's the frequency that releases negative energy, thoughts, emotions, and promotes a sense of freedom. We got 417. That's that resonating frequency that clears energy for positive change. This is the transformation energy. That's the transformation frequency 417 is. Then we got 528. That's my frequency right there. You see that right there, that symbol that's behind me right here? That's that 528, baby. That's that love frequency. Why am I fucking with that? My daddy's birthday is 528, and I rocks with that. And I just now noticing that shit. I've been rocking with that. I got a tuning fork that's 528. My singing bowl is 528. Never even made the connection. Ain't that really crazy, y'all? How the divine just puts you all the way in alignment, giving you these tools. You subconsciously reach for shit, and you just start realizing that it's gangster how the subconscious mind works. It just puts you right there in alignment as long as you vibrating for your highest and greatest good with a pure heart out here in these streets. The divine is so gangsta. Anyway, that 528 is that love frequency. That frequency helps you to relax. It increases your creativity and your well-being. It can also help in improving your sleeping patterns, right? The next one is the 639. That's the connecting frequency. It promotes harmonious relationships. It increases communication. 741 is the awakening frequency. This is for deeper levels of consciousness and spiritual growth. These are some frequencies that will help you in gaining a higher level of awareness and consciousness. So will this 852 hertz, right? This is that intuition frequency. This is the one that's really going to help you to get your mind right. Clarity of thought, spiritual awareness helps you to improve communication. It increases that intuition as well. These are all frequencies that will assist you along your journey in vibrating higher. But we got to be in tune with who we are. See, the last few weeks, I've really been talking about this, especially before we move into 2024. I need us to really be clear on what 2024 is. See, 2024 is an 8-year. It's ruled by Saturn. Saturn deals with karma. Saturn comes back for that ass. If you ain't really right, you gonna learn something real powerful about who you are. The key to with Saturn is to work with this energy, because see, this is some energy that can definitely reward you for who you are too. See, when you in tune with who you are, you in tune with the star player that is which who you wait a minute. Am I canceling some shit out? No, I'm not. Okay, here I go. See, if you really in alignment, in tune with the star player that is you really mess around, fuck around, and find yourself right where you need to be at. Saturn will assist you with that. You've been putting in the work. You've been doing your thing with a pure heart and grand intentions. Saturn is going to help and support you in that effort. All of that shit you don't put down. But if you have not really been doing the work, you've been flying by the seat of your pants, well, that shit's going to show too, right? And this is a time for us to really be in touch with ourselves, to be true, to be for real with who we are. Because so many of us, we ain't showing up for ourselves the way we need to. We ain't really being connected to our star place. So we allowing a lot of shit in our lives that's not really serving us at the end of the day. Then we want to act surprised and victimized when we find ourselves in relationships, connections, and situations that's not really working for our highest and greatest good. Oh, what am I talking about? I'm talking about these programs that we've been up under that we ain't really trying to address, because this is that part of ourself we ain't really looking at, right? We don't want to look at our fears and our insecurities, right? So we keep making these decisions based in, rooted in, grounded in, I'm not enough. And so what we end up doing is we start spending more money than we got. We want to give people the impression, because somebody told us that if we ain't got this brand label on our shit, then we ain't really worthy. We ain't doing it big. If you ain't driving this particular type of car, then you ain't shit. Now, you know, Bill Gates, no, not Bill Gates. What the fuck was his name? Steve Jobs, my bad, y'all. I shade of Steve Jobs. He talked about some things. I seen something on social media where they was talking about, he was saying that you get you a $200,000 car, or you can get you a $2,000 car. They both go take you to the same destination at the end of the day. But we done got it caught up in our heads that we need all this shit. Trust me, I know I was about the business of all of that shit. All that shit. It mattered to me. I thought I needed that. But that was because I thought that I wasn't enough at the end of the day. When you start becoming more at peace with yourself, when you start really diving deep into who you are, you start to recognize some of those things that need to be adjusted. You start moving more into an authentic space and getting in alignment. You start recognizing you got relationships that's not really serving you at the end of the day. You ever loaf around some fucking people, they playing music that you ain't feeling, they talking shit that you don't vibe with, and you want to connect with these people because they appear to be successful, they appear to be the type of person that you have been told is the type of folks that you connect with, but there is no real connection at the end of the day. Then we get into these other type of bullshitting ass connections where you got to behave a certain way in order for somebody to be around you, because who you are ain't enough. See, the way you talking, you got to change the way you talking, because see, I don't like that type of conversation. And if you keep talking that way, I ain't fucking with you. Oh, this what you do? Well, if you keep doing that, then I can't be around you. Well, then get the fuck from around me then, fam. But this is the way these connections work. Trust me, listen, I know I've been in all of these situations, so I'm not here to pass no judgment. I'm here to bring this information so that we can really be in alignment and in tune with who we are, so that we'll stop making these bullshitting ass connections. See, if we continue making these types of connections, making these types of linkages, we will never be able to tap into the greatest version of who we are. We do this by coming to terms with who we are, by accepting who we are, respecting who we are, and then making decisions rooted and grounded in who we are. So then you start noticing all of these fake ass connections, they start falling by the wayside. You start recognizing the people that you thought was for you, you start really seeing they may not be for you. Now, it don't mean that they bad people at the end of the day. They just ain't for you. And that's okay. Because what happens when you start standing in your own light, standing in your own truth? you start to magnetize. You start to draw in those individuals that are of like mind. Your true tribe begins showing up. Now, how gangster is that? But we got to be in tune with who we are, not who we think we should be, not who we've been taught to be, but who we truly are. And if there are some things that you're truly not at peace with, not because somebody told you that this is how, and we talking about, see, this is all about us really being in tune with our intuition, with our star player. Anytime we got programs that's based in fear, where we got to be afraid, not being aware that there's danger, but fear. When we start moving in those particular realms, we know we done made a wrong turn back there somewhere. But we got to make sure that we are in alignment with who we truly are. Because when we are, and when we do that, fam, when we do that, this is when shit starts shifting. Trust me, I got to tell you. And this is the reason why a lot of relationships that's really not for the highest and greatest good have fallen by the wayside over the years. Because as you start to know who you are, that shit begins to unfold. And now we're starting to see a lot of this shit. It comes into fruition. We looking at this music industry. I don't know why. Now, see, I'm going to tell you something. Now, my oldest daughter told me about all of these goings on back in like 2006, 7, some shit like that, where she was wowing me about all of the ritual and all of the fuckery and all of the this and the that was connected to the music industry. It looks like a lot of this shit is coming to light. The root of this shit is the program that we've been up under. See, we've been told that in order for us to be successful, it has to look this way. You ain't doing it big unless you're doing things this way. And we have allowed someone that's pulling purse strings, of course. Now, listen, no shade to that shit, because I probably would have did some fuckery and all of that other bullshit and been caught up and been in a space that I don't want to be in, and then showing up in my 40-some-year-old ass self, feeling some type of way that I allowed some fuckery to happen, wanting justice for some shit that happened back in the day that I allowed. No shade. I understand. And I get that shit. But now we are aware of this, and we have awakened to what's going on out here in these spiritual streets. What can we do to make this adjustment? How can we tweak this shit along the way? So these are some things that we need to really begin considering. Now, we already know that back in the day, see, like I said, the folks that held the purse strings and all of that shit, they linked up with the justice system, right? And so they got the music to kind of gear in that direction and everything. So now we got a lot of trap music and a lot of whatever, all of the other shit, murder music and all of that type of shit that comes up in here, and it's on what I call a demonic frequency. The demonic frequency ain't necessarily, listen, I don't give a fuck how you practice your spiritual practice. I ain't got time for that. I'm not finna argue with nobody on this shit. This is where I'm at. You don't like that shit, hit the click button, motherfucker, for real. But what I'm talking about is this demonic frequency. It's an energy that works against you. And when it's not working for your highest and greatest good, it's not really here for you to win. This deceptive energy that tells you it's a winner to eat that cheeseburger at McDonald's. Who knows what the fuck they putting up in that madness right there, right? I know I went and I had a quarter pounder with cheese a few months back, I think maybe that was a year or so ago. Whatever in the hell it was, I went and had, that motherfucker was so delicious, so magical, so delicious. It was magical. And I'm telling you, it was like, wow, it was the best burger I ever had in my life. I tell you, about an hour after I ate that shit, I was violently ill. Like, I was just like, I'm not going to give you the details, but it was a situation where I was in the bathroom for quite some time with a bucket, straight up. Something ain't right in that particular situation, right? But see, this is how that devil energy works. This is what that demonic frequency is all about. Has us convinced that killing and murdering and being a tramp ass person. And listen, I'm not here to knock, because see, I talks about this shit in Holistic Appeal. Yeah, you can get that shit on Amazon. It's a concise approach about how to get in alignment. And you can work with that sexual energy to help you get in alignment. Sexual energy, creative energy is all the same energy. But back to what I was talking about. See, sex, it's not a fucking game, fam. And I don't care what you do with your sex and all of this other stuff, for real, but I just want to make sure that you're aware that this is not a game. It's a blending together of souls in your DNA, fam. See, when you intertwine with somebody, when you allow somebody to enter your body, or you enter into another body, you are intertwining with their energetic field. You take on their blocks, you take on their energy patterns, and you can be open to any of the negative fuckery that they holding on to, such as like spiritual parasites and all types of fucked up shit. I need you to recognize that this shit's not casual out here. I know they got you singing along in some of these songs that make you feel like it's a game. It's a spur in the moment activity. You ain't nothing but something to, hey, listen, it ain't nothing to it. This is what we do. See, but when we consider that shit as something that's meaningless, ain't nothing to it, we just go fuck everybody. Let's go to the fuck party. Let's get down with it. Our aura is damaged. It damages your energetic field. See, we consuming energies of all of these people that's out here that's on this broken shit too. See, because if somebody is down to just casually fuck you, they down to casually fuck whoever. And listen, no shade, like I'm trying to tell you, I'm just giving you the science for free. Take it, leave it the fuck alone. Like I'm saying, I'm not here on a moral thing. I'm here to tell you this is what it is. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I still got mad love for you, fam, but this is what it is. I need you to understand the metaphysics of this shit, right? Levels to this, right? See, when you consume these people's energy, you got all of the other energy of all the other folks that they fucking around with. This is why I'm going there. And this is why a lot of us is in these scattered states where you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, you know what I'm saying? You all clingy and shit, you low vibrational and shit like that. Because see, you may not even be connected to your own feelings and shit. You sitting up here, you done picked up somebody else's fucking energetic parasites. But you got a music that's ministering to you, telling you that this is the way to go. And you sitting up there bobbing and down the street, and we and it sound good. I know I got a lot of that shit on my playlist. I had to reevaluate that shit. Once in a while, I let it sneak through, whatever, you know. However, let's be clear on what this is. We got a lot of folks that's in this industry that put this music out. And they are aware that there's an agenda that's out here that's encouraging us to connect to the lowest vibration of ourselves. And this is why the world is in the condition that it's in today. Did you not miss what's going on out here in these spiritual streets? See, I know they flooding your news feed with what's happening over there in Israel and Palestine and shit, and what's going on in Ukraine and all of that shit. But they ain't gonna talk to you about what the fuck's going on over there in Africa and Sudan and the Congo and all of that shit. I mean, they maybe a kiss of it, you know, because we've been programmed that there's a lot of folks' lives here in these streets, the ones that's the same color as me. We don't fucking matter at the end of the day. So let's put our focus on these folks, right? And we got a lot of Black folks out here, they fighting the power and they getting involved. It is mind control. Not saying that these people don't need no support. Not at all. But see, when you getting a steady diet of this in your news feed, on your television and all of this shit, it influences your behavior. And so now you start taking on the charge of Palestine, forgetting the folks over here in the Congo and Haiti and Sudan, all of these other places where there's a whole lot of fuckery that's going on. They trafficking kids in the meantime. It's a lot of shit going on in these streets. But we ain't worrying about all of that shit because what's in front of us, where the hype is, where the spotlight is on this particular bullshit right here. And yeah, it does. Yeah, we do need to care about that shit. It's important too. But there is a lot going on. There's levels to this shit. And we sitting around allowing somebody to direct our attention. And we ain't paying attention. This is what happens. And so now we got this music industry that's putting that music at the lowest frequency. See, that's why I like that music that was going on back in the 70s, the 80s and shit like that. I got a Cancer moon, so I'm very nostalgic about my music. And so that's the music from my childhood. I boogies onto it. I don't know about you, but if you got a Cancer moon, you like your old schools, you doing it big. But anyway, or anybody's moon, whatever the fuck. But I know, you know, those particular, see, Cancer energy is nostalgic, you see. However, I like that music, but it feels different. There's a different charge of energy on it. And this is because they changed the frequency on the music. See, this is where I was going with those solfeggio frequencies or whatever the fuck they call it. Y'all know, Google that shit, look that shit up. Don't take my word for it. These levels of frequencies, they help in healing you. They awaken some healing up in you, right? They changed the frequency on the music from 432 to 414, something like that, to bring it off balance, to lower the vibration, to lower the frequency, to tune the music, you know what I'm saying? So they put it on that. And then they minister to you with some fuckery and some foolishness and put it on a nice little beat that's vibrating low, hitting them lower chakras, all that sacral chakra, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? And that root chakra, boom, 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 boom. Now you ready to beat somebody's ass. And you got music and a soundtrack to beat their ass with and get laid with and get paid with and do the dance with. You know, all of that shit, right? It's banging. Trust me, I know it. It's a bang session. No doubt about it. They know exactly. Oh, they clever, man. Oh, Slewfoot is clever, baby. Slewfoot is clever. Now, what we got to do, star players, it is our obligation to be able to rise above and see the forest from the trees. We cannot allow ourselves to be so deceived out here in these streets. See, there's a lot of trickery going on out here that's tripping us up. And it's tripping a lot of these artists up because, see, this is a material world we live in this third dimension. See, if you ain't hip, all of this shit we've been talking about is you ain't shit if you ain't got the brand on this particular shit, you know? They talked about how Christian Dior got this little Zodiac thing that's going on for the holiday and everything. And I like, you know, Christian Dior things, it's just been just sparkling out at me and shit like that, you know? And I really like Christian Dior. I want a Christian Dior bag on an eBay auction. I'm out there fucking around, skipping around, all about my business, out and about and everything. And a trench coat just sparkled. And I reached over there, I tried it on, and boy, did it fit like a glove. And it was a Christian Dior trench coat. And I moseyed right on over there and paid very little money for it. Because I found it at the thrift shop. That's where I buy all my clothes from, because I don't give a fuck what nobody think about me in these goddamn streets. And I wear the best clothes. And I'm the flyest of the fly out here in these streets. And right now, everything I buy is from the thrift shop. And what do? I cleanse the energy, because a lot of times, you know, they done cleared out the house of somebody that died. So you got to make sure you clear that energy. You heard? Clear that energy, take it to the cleaners and make it fuck around. Take it down there to the tailor and get it fit up right. So then that way you dress and get the hell up out of them cheap ass Fashion Nova bullshitting ass clothes. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you think you got yourself something because you don't went in there and bought you something up off of the rack and it's cheap and it's jive and it's whatever. And as soon as you put it in the machine, it come apart. But you think you got you something because the program told you it got to be brand new. Yeah, okay. It's time to get a new program. Hold up. Where am I? I'm all off track and everything. Guys, see, I was trying to talk about all of the shit that that I was going. But anyway, this year that we're moving into is an 8-year. This is the number of power and dominion. This is about abundance. This is about opportunity and success if you play your cards right. This is also a year of karma. And if we ain't in tune with who we really are, we gonna find ourselves going around catching karma on some programs that we thought we fucking ourselves over. We taking on fucking responsibility because we've been taught that this is the right thing to do. We've been taught that this is the way to success. We've been taught that this is how you get it done. Where's that sitting at with you? How in the hell can you be doing something nice if it's making you fucking tired, fam? It's draining all your energy. It's stealing your joy. How's that working for you? We got to stay in these relationships because this is as good as it gets. Let me cling to this fuckery and foolishness because having a piece of a man or a woman is better than having nobody at all. Sure about that? We got to free our minds out here in these streets. And we are allowing ourselves to go down paths that we don't want to go to. And you can look at all of these folks, they call themselves celebrity. They got all the riches. You got a $25,000 purse on your arm and you can't keep a stable relationship. Because the joy, you can't put money on true peace of mind, on happiness, on joy, those things that truly matter at the end of the day. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose their soul? But this is what's going on out here in these spiritual streets. And we sitting by with the gas face because we afraid of Sleuth. Oh, we can't say that because, if we speak up about that, then somebody's going to come for us. Let them come. This is our time. It's time to rise up, family. We can't keep allowing this bullshit to happen. We the only ones that are not up under these programs. We can't help them if we one of them. You understand? So listen, I'm gonna wrap this shit up, but I just really want us to really be clear on what's going on out here in the streets. Because we got all these people, we call them celebrity. They got a whole lot of stuff. They got bling, bling, bling. They ain't happy. They done did some shit that compromised their self-esteem, their well-being, their mental wellness, and all of that other shit. They do a lot of shit that don't support their wellness. And now they looking for retribution for shit that they did back then. Now they live in a nice house. They driving a nice car. They got nice stuff, and they just as miserable and hateful. And we ain't contributing to the light of the world. When we ain't authentic, when we ain't true with ourselves, this is why we got to do that work. We got to be in a space of accepting ourselves. You don't like that, then say you don't like that shit. And stop going for shit that you don't want. So that you can really start stepping into your power and being more effective in this world. See, when you free yourself, the authenticity of who you are, it comes out and it allows you to shine your light so brightly in this world. I truly hope that this has been a message that is getting to the star players that's out here in these spiritual streets. You can't be one of them, fam. You got to rise above this shit. I hope this is helpful. Peace and light. Peace and light.